Hey, there you are. Glad you could join me tonight. Bill Boshier in the Scizone. Glad you're here. For those of you who are not here, you're welcome. Call somebody, tell them about the show. We'll be talking about them and all the other people. And some of the people that are all across the country tonight. I want to say hello to a bunch of them. That a lot of the people that are in a website tonight, they may not be in there long because they're probably listening here. And I follow a lot of websites in chat rooms. And the one that I found that I really like, and some of you people who are Iraqi dinar investors will probably enjoy this room. It's called dinarholics.com. And my whole machine just died here with the telephone calls coming in on it. So somebody will fix that. In the meantime, you and I will chit-chat. It's the marvels of television. I tell you, this never ceases to amaze me. Tonight, we were supposed to have Philip Bragg. He was the guy, our attorney, if you'll remember, who's filed a lawsuit in federal court about Barack Obama. Now, whether or not that has been, we'll find out more about that. But as I understand it tonight, there are 7 other states that have also enjoined on a kind of lawsuit somewhere, somehow, someplace. And those are Hawaii, California, Washington, Utah, Florida, and Pennsylvania. And I believe the reason Mr. Mr. Berg is not here tonight is because he is filing the appeal, as I understand it. We'll get into that. As I said, we'll have Paul on here in a little bit. Paul has been following this as a producer and watching it. There's so much happening in this. It's amazing. Hannity tonight, you may have seen Hannity. I didn't get a chance to see it. I was here at the studio, and Hannity has a show tonight who brought all this up. If you have a comment on that, I'd like to hear about that. What we're going to do is I'm going to dial up Paul and see if he's available. That might... All right. Hello. Who have I got here? Bob, stay right there. Put you back on hold. Somebody answered the phone there. That's Bob's on hold. And that's why that didn't work. There was somebody on there. But my screen is dead in here. So I don't worry about it. All right. Well, I got Bob on the first line. Tonight, and I'll tell you this again, there is a big thing going to happen probably Monday. Another $500 billion is going to be infused, and I will be telling you about that later on tonight in regard to the Iraqi dinar and how that might be affected with that. At any rate, your telephone calls, your information, we want to hear from you. The website, again, is Dinarholics. And the reason, let me tell you why I like it. Nobody's in there bashing anybody for their opinions. And so often you have people who are, this is their claim to fame, so to speak. You know, their 30 minutes of fame. They have a website and they like to have that power. It doesn't work that way. Anyway, let's go to the phones and get that started, get the people in. The phones are not working. I'll take care. All right, I'll take him in the next break. But let me show you what I used to do in radio. Caller, who's there? Bob, how are you tonight? Glad to have you aboard, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, calm down. Bob's online, but they can't hear Bob. I'll tell you what, let's take a break. He just said we'll take a break, get this fixed, and we'll be right back with you and your phone calls right here in the Scizone. I'm Bill Boshiers. Stick around. We got more to do, and a lot of it, you're a part of it. Have a good, stay there now. Don't go away. I'll be here, so don't go away. Hey, we're back in the Scizone. Thank you for joining me again here. Bill Boshears with you till 12 o'clock tonight. Let's go back to the phones. Your phone callers, line open, 381-3838. We'll jump in. Let's go to Annette. Annette, you're there. Hi, how are you? Okay. Hold on, Annette. For some reason, we can't get you up on air with me. So I'm going to put you on hold again. And, all right, hang on right there. And we'll try to get this thing squared around here a little bit. Everything seems to be working on this end, guys. Anyway, let me give you some ideas about some of the things that I'm looking at, I looked at this weekend, or this week. Iraq, and I hate to go out of the country like that so quick, but we got a lot of problems, and they're looking at it too. Iraq has asked to extend the mandate for the forces for another 6 months. Now, what does that mean? That means they want to keep our forces there for another 6 months. See, I'd like to have our forces home tonight. I really don't care. They'll take care of themselves, and they'll sort that out. You may have a comment about that. I don't know. The sources are pretty much stable in this because they've asked not to be named. They told the news agency, in light of the division of differences and views among the Iraqi political blocs, and the fierce debate over security agreement with Washington, the Iraqi government might resort to the request the UN Security Council to extend the mandate and these forces for 6 months as sent to Parliament at the present time means more division and more fragmentation. Now, why that is, I have no idea, other than the fact that we've got a lot of play happening, and they're about ready to get a wake-up call. For all intents and purposes, Iraq has been carried along here at the expense of the government. I'm tired of it, and I think most Americans are tired of a war that has drug on this long with no results that are measurable. There is a movie out there called Where is Obama? And a guy who did the McDonald's commercial, you know, he did all the eating of the McDonald's, they put that on tape. He went to Iraq, asked questions like, where's Osama? Osama bin Laden. Osama is somewhere in the hinterlands. And we're supposed to figure that out. And the people there in this movie are saying, the basic premise of the movie was simply this. We understand we're not upset with the people of America. We're upset with the government and its actions. And boy, that went home to me. Maybe it does you too. Maybe that's something we ought to think about in this next election when we're going to hire somebody to run the country, literally give them a job because they can't go out in society and find one. And there's some question as to whether these people are qualified to do that. See, they just go ahead and have a mandate. Now, I know, some of you can correct me if you know more about this than I do. McCain is, he wants to go into Iraq, or into Afghanistan. I think it's a mistake from the people that I've talked to in the media and who know about and have been in that particular pass and up through the mountains up there. They say it ain't no place to be to fight a war. And the system is, whoever we elect, we're going to run into problems with it. Even a person who has only casual interest in politics has probably heard the political pundit on television say that this is the most important presidential election of our lifetime. It very well may be. But most Americans this year, presidential election is meaningless. The end result will be that the government will, for all practical purposes, remain the same. If you noticed, it has been that way since Daddy Bush. There is not a nickel's worth of difference between the Democrats or the Republicans. And I defy you to talk about or show me what they've done for you. Oh, they've kept us safe. I'm not so sure we were in harm's way. There's a lot of unanswered questions. If McCain wins, we'll get a slightly different version of big government from what we've been seeing under the Republican president of George Bush. If Obama wins, we'll get a Democrat version of big government. And to hear the diehard Republicans and the Democrats talk, you would think that McCain and Obama disagree on every issue. But that's simply not the case, folks. In debate, you'll hear them say, I agree with Senator McCain, and I agree with Obama. I agree with it. They agree with it, except for abortion. About the only thing McCain and Obama disagree on, how they will use the power of the government to solve a problem that's none of their damn business. See, you get a bunch of old men in a room trying to decide something that they have never, ever, they'll never have an abortion. But my constituents don't, they want me to vote this way. Yeah, right. They've never solved a problem like that, and they can't. I heard one of them say, I don't remember which one it was now, when I get in office, we're going to renegotiate NAFTA and GATT. It completely missed the point. No, you won't renegotiate it. You realize what it would take to renegotiate that? Neither candidate has that kind of clout. The American people are not that interested because they don't understand it, how it's taken their country away from them. The minute they figure that out, it'll be too late anyway. The fact that McCain and Obama both embrace political philosophies that the government has the authority to meddle into many issues and affects all of our lives, precisely the reason is this presidential election, this chosen between big government Republican and big government Democrat, is meaningless. I'll take a pause in the action, and I'll be right back, hopefully, with your phone calls. Take care. Stick around. We got more to do, and you're a part of it, right here in the Scizone. Thank you for joining me tonight. Well, we're back. I don't know what we're doing yet. We're going to try this thing again. And what I may do is take your call and get the question, and then we'll try to answer it for you, and we'll move on that way. That's the best I can do right now for all intents and purposes. By the way, did that experiment work? Do we know if that experiment? It did not work. Well, hell. Let's go back. Let's go to Robert, and I'll ask him. Robert, you have a question I can repeat for you. Okay, all right. No. Okay, I've got your question. No, it is correct. I'll get to it. The question is if Obama was born in Hawaii, would he be a citizen or was not a citizen? That's not the problem. Mr. Obama refused to, or did not comply with the court order to produce his birth certificate for federal court. He is supposed to have been born in Kenya, his grandmother there. They have it on tape, as I understand it, and are going to publish that along with the documentation they've got, and that will be made public to everybody, and we can move from there. Now I've got a question. I'll go to Annette. Annette, you got a question for me? A statement. All right, she's got a statement.
Here yesterday, CNBC.
Okay, yeah, okay, you're on the air now, Annette. Go ahead.
Oh, great. Okay, it's 11 a.m. on the 24th.
Yes.
CNBC stated this is the quote: Illuminati is responsible for the stock market crash.
I did not hear that, but it wouldn't surprise me. All right, I'll try to find it. Thank you, dear. Let's go to John. John, you're on the air, hopefully.
Hello, Mr. Procedure.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
I'd like to start off by saying I watch the show all the time, and I enjoy it very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
And I've been following this Obama crime.
Yeah.
I heard about it on your show maybe a month ago. I've been following it.
Yeah, Philip Berg was on here, and maybe later on we'll get a hold of Paul, and Paul can, if Paul's watching, he can call in. Go ahead.
I'm still with it?
Yeah, you're still here. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I've just been following the Obama crime because young person, things like this.
I'm sorry. It's just out there.
I think it's pretty sad that Americans don't get a chance to understand what's going on.
Well, you know, I can only bring so much information out in the time I have. I can only give you the places where you go look, you find it, and you do the work, and you find out about it. Once you find out about it, you'll be able to go, oh, as you've just done. You have just touched the tip of the iceberg.
Well, I have already went over. I have seen and read and studied things since the cross my on I just don't know why it's not being applied to it.
Well, Hannity tonight, my understanding is Hannity did a show on it. Now, what he did, I don't know, but it was national, and he was supposed to make some sort of big announcement.
Well, just real quick, I don't want to take up too much time.
I appreciate it.
Last week, somebody called in, and I was hoping and praying that Hawaii wasn't a state yet. That way, Obama couldn't run me. The one guy called in and set up questioning whether Hawaii would be a state.
Yeah.
When he was supposedly born there.
Right.
Well, it became a state in 1959, 1961. So
If he was born there, that's okay. Just show me. All you got to do is show me the birth certificate, not me. Show the courts the birth certificate. Show me your passport, and explain your grandmother saying that she was at your live birth in Kenya with your sister. Just explain that.
I totally agree with you. I mean, this man has raised, like, what, $800 billion?
No, he's raised $600 million, about $600 million.
Well, I mean, that's but he raises a ridiculous amount of money, has all the power in the world.
But wait a minute. Wait. One piece of paper. Here's the other part. A lot of that money came from Arab countries. Did you know that?
I do know that.
And that sucks.
And real quick, I can't think of that. Real quick, the one thing I wanted to say is that there is talk about him when he was in Indonesia, Indonesian citizenship. He has a passport from Indonesia, and he's traveling with that passport under the name of Barry Staud, which is the top name from his Indonesian father. You know, his mom.
Yeah.
Changed his one from America on territory.
All right. I got to run, John, but you've hit it dead on the head tonight, brother. You've named everything I know about. I appreciate it. Thank you, John. You're up there.
Thank you, sir.
Gotcha. We'll go to commercial break. We'll be right back after this. Stick around. Back in the Scizone, Bill Boshears with you till 12 o'clock. Online with me is my buddy and producer Paul. Are you there, sir?
Yeah, Bill, I am. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well, sir. We've had a few calls here with information. You're following this lawsuit in Pennsylvania very closely. Could you give us an update? Mr. Bragg or Philip Berg could not be here. As I understand it, he's filing an appeal tonight. Is that correct?
Yes, he's filing a appeal in the U.S. Supreme Court. I'm quite sure that he's up to his elbows in the proper paperwork to try to get this before the court as soon as possible.
Well, Paul, what's the disposition of this? Where does this stand right now? Are there not 7 other states? Are there 7 states involved in this now?
Well, yes, you have suits in Hawaii, Washington, California, Florida, Georgia, New York, Connecticut, and Utah.
Wow.
And they're all questioning his right to be even on the ballot because of his birth certificate.
Is it because he won't produce it or can't produce it, or he's produced a phony birth certificate? What seems to be the crux here?
Well, there's a lot of things going on, and what we're looking at is the experts that have examined what was made available are calling it an actual forgery.
Well,
and the long-adapted version of his birth certificate is being held in Hawaii without being able to be examined. In most cases, during an adoption, those birth records are sealed. However, we know who Obama's real father is, who his adopted father is, and his background history.
Okay.
So there's really no reason to keep that secret. Secondly, with his college paperwork, we're looking at the fact that maybe the reason he's having that sealed is that he had, or some people have alleged, that he's received financial aid as a foreign student. And if they were able to examine those paperwork, they would be able to show that.
Now, he's raised quite a bit of money. If in fact this comes down and he's taken off the ballots and not be allowed to vote in those states, what happens to that money? Isn't that a fraud?
Well, yes, it's a fraud. However, if he doesn't win, he's raised over $600 million to date. Which means if he doesn't get elected, whatever left over is his money.
Oh.
And if he's not eligible, of course, that would be construed as a fraud in violation of the Federal Election Commission regulations.
I don't know. Paul, are you on a speakerphone or what? We're having trouble with you.
Well, I'm calling you all over my Magic Jack. I'm sorry if you're
We're getting a little echo here on you, brother. We're getting a little echo on you here.
Yeah, I'm kind of hearing that echo myself.
Go ahead. We're getting a little echo. Go ahead. That's all right.
Okay, but if you go to ObamaCrimes.com, you can actually download the documents that they have in the latest news and information. And one thing here, too, is for people to realize if you feel that this is a necessary fight, he does need some financial help.
Let me ask you this. This comes down as a fraud, which I don't know that it is or it's not. I'm thinking if it is, the people who donated money, do they get their money back?
Well, normally he would be forced to pay that back, but not after court action ordering him to do so. And remember, as a fraud, I can see now where there would be possible violations of the RICO Act, racketeering. The Internal Revenue Service is going to say it's no longer a tax-deductible donation, and they'd want their share of it. So basically the government would seize these funds, and the people would be out in left field.
Paul, somebody
But the bigger danger rises here, Bill, is, remember, if he's removed from the ballot, all those that have voted early for him, their votes don't count.
Somebody stopped me in a store this week and talking about the show and thank you and all that stuff, and they asked me a question about Obama. When he traveled abroad, who paid his bills? He only had a job for like $12,000, $24,000 a year in Chicago, and yet he was traveling all over the world, you know, sightseeing and everything else, I guess. I don't know. And I don't know. Is there anything out there about that?
Well, a lot of his activities are being kept very secret. One, I remember reading somewhere where a radical sheikh, I believe out of Saudi Arabia, was instrumental in him getting into Harvard Law School. And there was additional funding coming possibly out of that. So we have a lot of things that we need discovery on and to be brought out in the open.
Well,
we may be actually looking at the first puppet master attempt of taking over a country by having somebody that has no qualifications that they have total control over.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'm doing. Can we take a phone call? I think we can take a phone call. Stay right there. I'm going to try to do this.
Go ahead, Bill.
James, you're on the air with Paul. Go ahead, sir.
How you doing, Mike, Bill?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
What's scary about this is he's pulling a Bush before he even gets into office. All these illegal activities, and you know, Bush cites executive privileges, but this guy's not even in office, and he's breaking the law. If it was you or I, they would already had us in jail for contempt.
Oh yeah, he's already said he didn't. That there's no standing, and he just refused to answer the judge. I guess is what happened. Paul, have you got an answer to that?
They totally disregard answering any of the requested information, and then the judge finally dismissed the case for lack of standing. Now, my reading of it, I can see where Berg had full standing, but the judge in the federal court there said that we, the people, you know, we're a government of the people, by the people, for the people, doesn't matter.
James,
we don't have a right to challenge it.
I appreciate your call, James. Thank you. Let's go to Evan. I guess it's Evan. Evan, you're on the air with Paul. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, yes. I was wondering if anyone out there actually believes that they would let a non-U.S. citizen run for presidency.
Well, it's funny to me, the DNC has not answered any of the rebuttals or any of the questions.
Really, because there's a bunch of nonpartisan groups that have actually verified his birth certificate. I mean, you can just do a quick, easy Google search and find a copy of it.
Paul,
you can look for yourself.
Paul, have you seen that?
Yeah, well, yes.
I mean, I know.
For your audience, I'm a formal criminal investigator in law enforcement, and I've worked for the federal government. When I first saw what was offered as his birth certificate, I could immediately see, in my humble opinion,
okay, well, what's your last
was a
name,
forgery and
Paul?
a fraud. And he hasn't put out the real redacted long version of his birth certificate to prove what he has.
There's a long version and a short version of birth certificates?
Yeah, there is. I appreciate the call, Evan. Thank you.
The one not showing would show the history and the exact information of his mother and father, where they worked and lived.
One is called...
the one he had that was offered up for him was didn't have the proper seal stamps and the right terminology for the time frame that that document would have been issued.
Let's go to... it's Merkel. I don't know if it's Merkel or not. Go ahead. You're on the air. Hello?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. You're on the air with Paul.
Yes, hello. I was wondering why, if you thought that the prices would be going down at any time.
Yeah, he's breaking up. I couldn't hear anything he was saying. It was kind of garbled. Let's go to Don. Or no, let's go first to Jody, you're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air, sir.
I just have a couple of comments, not really questions. Me personally, I do want Barack Obama to win the presidency, but I do think a lot of people are upset because of all the money he's gathered. And I was just wondering, has anybody thought about the fact that he is really good friends with Warren Buffett?
I hadn't even thought about it, but it's a hell of a point. Appreciate it, Jody. What do you think about that, Paul? He's friends with Warren Buffett.
Well, what bothers me more is that he's raised almost $70 million just out of the Middle East alone in illegal campaign contributions and questionable contributions. When you look at the money he's raised...
Exactly.
The Republican National Committee has already asked for a criminal investigation into it.
We now know we can buy our senators and our congressmen in Washington, and now countries are able to buy presidents. Go figure. Anyway, let's go to Don. Don, you're on the air with Paul.
Good evening, gentlemen. Back in the 60s, they used to have trucks go around. They called them radical. And they would play rock and roll music that was not supposed to be on the air, and then they would talk about government, especially anti-Vietnam.
Okay.
Let me ask you something. What's wrong with bringing that back today? Because it's obvious they're fighting the people. They don't want this out, so let's get it out any way we can.
We're doing the best we can right now. But you're a part of it, Don. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Paul, stay right there.
Bill, are you aware that Obama Crimes Today showed that they have over 71 million hits?
Jeez. Anyway, I did not know that. Well, 71 million people know what the deal is. Paul, I'm going to put you on hold. Stay right there. We'll take a pause, Jackson. Come right back with your phone call, 513-381-3838. Stick around. We got more to do. You're a part of it. I guess. I hope so. I'm back in the Scizone. I'm Bill Boshears. I hope. I guess I can hear me. Let's go back to the phone. My guest, Paul Staud, who has been doing the research and following this thing with Obama and his birth certificate. It looks like he may or may not be a candidate after all. We don't know. How many states now, Paul, do we have that are against him or got a court orders against him?
Well, there's court action being taken against him in 8 states now.
Whoa. All right, let's go to Dee. You're on the air with Paul. Go ahead. Hello, Dee.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air with Paul. Go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to know where he's getting all of these figures from that he's quoting about this money from the Middle East and all these hits and it's absolutely a shame that you allow people like that to be on your show.
No, the shameful part of it is that he's talking about something that is happening, and the shameful part of it is, my dear, is that you don't know about it. That's the bad part, because the rest of the media has refused to cover this. Hannity tonight gave some insight to it, but what, I don't know. I didn't see it. Paul, thank you, Dee. I appreciate your call. Let me ask you this, Paul. Did you see what Hannity presented?
I was seeing part of that tonight. I was doing a little more research for the show tonight, but he was covering a lot of stuff that we've already read and researched out.
Okay, so he brought it nationally to everybody else.
Yes, and he even had a banner about Philip Berg's case tonight and the his federal court judge's decision.
And let me reiterate something. The only reason we're doing this is because this is news. I don't give a damn if Obama is green. It has nothing to do with race. All he's got to do to stop all of this, all he's got to do is show his passport, show his birth certificate, and show the right one. I don't have any problem with him running for president. I don't care whether he runs for president. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I don't care. I'm an independent. I've got somebody that I'm going to vote for that's better than both of them. But that's beside the point. That's just my opinion, and you've got yours. Let's go to Markle. He's out there. Markle, you're on the line with Paul. Go ahead.
Yes, hello. I was talking about how who was the first person to actually come out with the findings of Obama?
Who's the person to come out with the findings?
Yes. Like online?
Well, what you can do is go online. Do you have a computer? Can you go online?
Yes, I do.
Well, go on to, what's the name of the website there, Paul?
It's obamacrimes.com.
ObamaCrimes.com. You can take a look at it, sir. It's all
So
there.
Obama crime is he a terrorist?
Sir, don't be ridiculous. We're talking about crimes that the man may have committed. You know better than that. Don't try to be obnoxious. You're making a point, and it's not very well made. John, you're on the air. Go ahead, John.
Mr. Boshiers, I called before.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make a real quick comment and have a question.
Go right ahead.
We're talking about where Barack's born, and there's a lot of argument about that. And I agree with you. I believe he was born in Kenya and not legally allowed to run.
I don't care where he was born. Show me.
That's what I want him to do.
Just show us. And
I want him to just show me. But the point I want to make real quick is just, let's say that he was born in the U.S., just hypothetical.
Okay.
He went to Indonesia for years, became an Indonesian citizen, traveled on an Indonesian passport under another name. So can you legally go to another country, become a citizen of their country, and then when you do that, you renounce your U.S. citizenship, and you come back here? You just
let me help
go
you.
somewhere, change citizenship, and come back and then be president?
Let me help you. At the time he did that in Indonesia, Indonesia wouldn't let you have dual citizenship, is my understanding. I could be wrong. I've been wrong about a couple of things, but that I think I'm pretty much good on. I don't think that you could have dual citizenship and travel inside Indonesia. I don't know, but we'll see. But I appreciate the call, John.
Real quick, can I just finish that question?
Go ahead.
Please?
Please, go ahead.
I understand the Indonesian thing, but anybody at all, if they leave the nation and change their citizenship and then come back, can they legally run for the presidency, even if they were born in the U.S.?
I don't know. I would assume they could. We'd let Lee Harvey Oswald back in. Go figure.
It's my understanding,
Okay.
Bill, that once
Thank you,
you've
Bill.
lost,
Go ahead, Paul.
it's my understanding that once you've lost or given up your citizenship, you come back, you can regain your citizenship by
Yes.
oath of allegiance. However, the nationalized part of it, you lose. In other words, then you can't run for president.
Ah, okay. Well, let's go to Ron, who's on the line. Ron, you're on line with Paul Staud. Go ahead, sir.
Hello, this is actually relating to what you were talking about earlier in the show. It's more like a comment. When you were talking about us switching from Iraq to Afghanistan, I've been hearing a lot of that, and it blows me away that they would do that when we're having so many financial problems here, and we're pumping lots of money into Iraq only to go and pump money into somewhere else. It doesn't really make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. It has never made sense. And let me tell you, Ron, right up front, the next president, whoever it is going to have to fight 3 wars. 3. He's going to have to do Iraq, Afghanistan, and probably wind up looking at Pakistan or one of the other countries close by. It's amazing how stupid we've let these people become and give them a job as the head of the state.
It doesn't
let me
make
tell
any
you
sense.
why it is. It's the military-industrial complex making money off of you and me to go fight wars.
Yes.
That's why we need an independent. We don't need a Democrat or a Republican. They've never done anything in the last 40 years that matters a damn to anybody except screw things up, give tax breaks to the rich, and put the tax burden on the back of the working man and the working class people in this country and ship our jobs overseas just to make India and these countries, oh, look how happy we are. Oh, we got jobs. Yeah, wait till your economy tanks, and we ain't buying that damn junk you send in here. Anyway, you got me started, Ron. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. I will take a pause in the action right now while I get my blood pressure back under control. Paul, stick around. Don't go anywhere. You're there. Stay right there. I'm Bill Boshiers. We'll take a a quick hiatus and come right back. Go ahead, hit that button that takes me off the screen in there. There you are. Back in the Scizone, Bill Boshears with you till 12 o'clock, taking your calls. Online with me is Paul Staud. He's the guy who's been investigating and looking at this Obama situation for us and doing a hell of a job. Appreciate it. Let's go back to the phone. Let's go to Eric. Eric, you're online with Paul.
How you doing?
Doing well, sir.
Why is it that when Bush ran in 2000 and then 2004, the Republican Party, Bush and his boys they raised all kinds of money to campaign against Gore and Kerry. Nothing was said about that. Now Barack Obama, you know, gathers all this money for his campaign. He does it the way he wants to. He doesn't accept the money from the government, and he gets it through the internet. All of a sudden, he's a terrorist.
No. Nobody said he was a terrorist.
Basically, that's what you're saying. If y'all connecting the man,
Eric, listen.
If you connect the man with a terrorist man, a Saudi sheik, getting him in.
Eric, I'll tell you what I will do. I'll hang up. Now, if you're not going to listen, we're going to
I'll listen.
Here's what happened. He's got $60-some million from Arab countries right now outside the country, and in my understanding, Paul, is that legal or illegal?
It's illegal, and I think what you need to look at, Bill, here, and Eric, is that if these rules were reversed, let's say that McCain had the same history that we're looking at with Obama here, we would just as hard on McCain's case.
Hey, it don't matter to me. If you do the crime, you get the time. That's it. Hey, I appreciate your call, Eric. Thank you, sir. Let's go to Robin. Robin, you're on the air.
Good evening, Bill. I have to tell you something. We do love to get you going and get your blood pressure up, so I hope that's okay.
Just stop.
That is great. But, you know, one thing I found very interesting, and I'm sure that you've seen this before, too, with all of the commercials that are on the air now from both parties, I find it very interesting that one of Obama's commercials states that he's talking about his mother and how she said, hey, my son is an American and he needs to learn these things, blah, blah, blah. You know, it sounds like he is trying to divert the attention.
I saw that, and it is a rub, isn't it?
It certainly is. I think that right there he's admitting that he knows this controversy is going on and he's not going to do anything about it.
Well, he's got $600 million. And he's got his own airplane he's bought with money from his campaign, or somebody gave him, I don't care. And if he gets away with it, all he's got to do is take his family, get on a plane, and go back to Kenya or wherever the hell he's from.
Right.
And take his money, and it'll be fine. And I don't care. But if he's got the passport, he's got it, get it on.
Right, prove it.
Prove
it. You know, I think it's a sin, it's a crime that both candidates of both parties are spending that kind of money here in the way our economy is now. With people, families living out of cars, losing their homes, losing their jobs, everything else.
Robin, do you realize that Hannity and Savage and myself are the only three people, and I'm local here, but it's national on the internet, we're international on the internet, are the only three people in the media talking about it, and the newspapers don't have the cojones. That's those hanging down things. They don't have the cojones to print this story.
They don't want it out, Bill. That's why they're not printing it. They don't want it out.
I challenge the Enquirer, National Enquirer, I don't give a damn who it is. Somebody ought to put this in print, and if you don't, oh, wait a minute. If it bleeds, it leads. Is that right, Paul? That's the way we have to look at it.
Well, I kind of find it funny that here's a man who's talking about helping the poor and the lower caste citizens, but he spends $500,000 to redo his jet and remove the American flag from the tail.
And he won't wear, well, he started wearing a lapel pin, but he wouldn't salute it, and he wouldn't say the, what was it he didn't want to do? Didn't want to say the Pledge of Allegiance and sing the Star Spangled Banner. I don't really care. He's not much of an American for me, but that's beside the point. Whatever these people want to vote for, they're going to vote because they believe they think.
And Bill, all the media is talking about right now is how much Sarah Palin's clothes cost. Hello? What about everything else that the candidates
I
are
like
spending?
her legs myself. I don't care about her. Anyway, she's got better looking legs than McCain, I guarantee you.
She certainly does.
And I think she's a hot chick. I like her, even if she is a gun-toting mom. Hey, you know what? Maybe we ought to have, maybe she's the next Margaret Thatcher.
There you go.
Maybe she's got enough sense to be real.
Well, she certainly has enough spunk to be real. I mean, she's out there. She's telling it like it is. I don't like either party, just like you. But, hello, at least she's being out there and honest, true to herself.
Hey, you know what? She'll show us her birth certificate.
That's right.
You got it. Robin, thank you.
Good night, Bill.
We got 1 minute to go. Paul, I want to thank you for what you've done tonight. Thank you for being here and being a part of this.
Well, you have a good night, Bill.
Take care, brother. I'll speak with you later.
Good night.
Good night. By the way, I wanted to talk to you just a minute for some of you who are the Iraqi investors, and I promised you this. The reason you have not seen a revalue is very simple. We were talking about this last night. This may not sit well with you, but the American banks do not have cash to cash out your dinar. Monday, there's supposed to be a $500 million or $1 billion, $500 billion supposed to go into the banks. Maybe that'll speed up, and I think it'll happen around, if you're looking for prognostication, around the 1st of December, I think. I could be wrong. Hey, it's just my opinion. Anyway, thank you for being here. We'll be here next week, same time, same place, and we'll be here with you and your ideas and your comments. That's what it's all about. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of it. And for my folks all over the world on the internet, live, thank you for being here. We appreciate you.